So Joseph, AI is here. Your prediction is that within 3 years, all financial advisors are going to be dead, fired, DOA. Why is that?
Wow. That was getting right into it, right to the heart of the matter. The way we are doing business has drastically changed. And the way financial advisors, they're just so far behind the curve when it comes to how to engage with clients and what clients are actually wanting, that they're not going to be able to keep up. There's problems with branding. There's problems, regulatory oversight that gets advisors scared. They're not using AI. Everything that comes out in the market, all new technologies that come out, advisors have this willful fight against it. They think it's bad, or you can never replace a human being, or you can never replace me as a person. But the reality is you can. It's happening, and it's happening on a mass and scale level, and advisors haven't kept up with it or even used it to their advantage. That's it in a nutshell.
I was at a poker game the other night, and this guy was a financial advisor. So I was like, not to be a dick or anything, not to put you on blast, but why do I need you? Why can you do this better than a computer that can just generate millions of points of data instantly and create predictions? Why the heck do I need you?
Yeah, well, that is a good question, and one that's been rapidly emerging across the spectrum. My counter argument to that would be, yeah, I can watch a YouTube video on how to climb Mount Everest, and I could, get all the gear. I can go to REI, pick up everything I need to, buy the plane ticket, go out there, start climbing Mount Everest. But it's probably good to get that Sherpa, because he's the one that's gone up and down 1,000 times, knows everything that could possibly happen to you, and knows how to pivot. So the value of financial advisor will still continue to have. I mean, they have a lot of different experiences, and also nobody's situation stays the same forever. Life is life. It happens all the time. So you need somebody that can pivot with you and could say, hey, maybe we should think about this instead of that at this point in your life. That's where the advisor's value is going to come into play moving forward. The math is simple. I mean, there's so many programs out there that can do the math on how to get somewhere, what to save, what types of products to put yourself in. But the advisor has to be that more of a guidance, that Sherpa, the coach, right?
And I get that. The flip side, though, is how often have we gotten on a call? I came from the insurance industry before I got into podcasting. Thank you, God. I'm so happy now. But before, the amount of times where clients would, quote unquote, forget to tell me about a life change, it's happened all the time.
Yeah.
But nowadays we've got these phones, which are basically implanted in us. I don't go anywhere without my phone. Better chance of finding me without my wallet or my keys than without my phone. The phone knows everything, everywhere I go, everything I buy, everything I look at, how long I look at it. That's why my entire Instagram feed is just full of alligators all the time. But Facebook knows when you're taking a poop. It has a better idea of I can't remember the exact stat, but it can predict that you have colon cancer or you have cancer before even doctors know, right? So why wouldn't these softwares just be better at predicting future behavior, both from me and from the market, than the actual human being, the advisor themselves?
Look, I'm not saying we're not going to get there. I do believe we'll get there at some point in the future. We're not entirely there yet. Obviously, the more tech that gets developed, the quicker that reality is going to happen, which can make, being an advisor a lot more difficult. What I'm trying to create is, how do you augment being an advisor right now with the AI and the tech that's out there today? And how do you help somebody, guide them and get more information back to yourself, more data points back through different, programs in order to make more informed decisions? You hit the nail on the head. People don't necessarily tell you when things are happening. But if we have the right tech engaging with that individual investor or client that alerts us or alerts us and says, hey, so-and-so just got a promotion at the job. So-and-so just got fired from their job. Or, this is a new life event where they do need life insurance, or maybe they need an annuity, or maybe they have an annuity and it's outdated, or an insurance policy, whatever. Using that type of data and that type of information can help the advisor come up with, a more detailed response to a client, and actually be a much better, Sherpa or guidance or coach to the client in that instance. But doesn't mean we won't get to the point where, technology could take over everything. But there's always going to be people that do want to talk to a human, and I get that too.
Well, and listen, when I think about AI, when I think about tech and how quickly it's moving, throughout human history, there's always been innovation. And when innovation happens, old jobs are supplanted, new jobs are created, right?
Correct.
AI is a little bit different because it just impacts everything. You think about like, what can I actually do better than a human? Like, heck, men aren't even dating real humans anymore. Men are dating. Have you heard about replica.ai?
Yeah. Surprisingly. I mean, wow.
Millions and millions of men obsessed and actually dating AI chatbots.
Yeah, they made a movie about that. They made her with like Joaquin Phoenix and Charlize Theron. Yeah.
It is reality now.
That's here. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And I remember when Replica said, we're taking away the sexting feature, and all these men, millions of men are like, you just lobotomized my girlfriend. And it's like, this is getting crazy. But so let's get back to finance before I go off on a tangent, which I want to do. But we get back to finance. How can I actually stay relevant? How can I keep up? Because, things are going to go fast, but I can at least take steps now to stay relevant. So I'm a financial advisor. I'm worried about my job being supplanted. What's the first step to staying relevant?
Yeah. So the tech programs, and look, I'm a little biased because I'm the CEO of a tech program platform myself, but use those to your advantage and know that you can augment your practice with them in order to engage with more clients and customers. 10 years ago when Betterment and Wealthfront came out and they were a Robo Advisory platform, everybody was like, okay, well, this is the end of financial advisory. That was 10 years ago. And they thought, okay, well, this is automated investing. And the reality was it didn't replace the advisors' jobs at the time. And actually, some of the methodologies of the actual models weren't that good. But advisors kept fighting it. And to this day, you say Robo Advisor, it's like a dirty word to them. It's like, okay, well, there's a huge portion of the population that they don't necessarily need a full service financial advisor and spending the large fees. They may have smaller accounts and they actually need something to manage their wealth or what they're building. Why wouldn't you use this if it's a little better to some of the alternatives out there? So I think
I want to hear specifically about Tactive Advisors. That's your platform. That's your bread and butter. That's what I know you don't want to sell yourself hard, but I want to know specifics. I want to know, so let's say I need to use some sort of robo advisor. I need to use this data. I decide Tactive Advisors is where I want to start. What happens next?
Yeah, look, so today trading is so fast. There are so many algorithms and things are based on momentum drivers in the market that all the old systems that a lot of the investment philosophies were built on something that's outdated and over 50 years old called modern portfolio theory. So you go to Betterment, you go to Wealthfront, you go to a lot of the robo platforms. By design, they're based on old theories. And if you look at how they perform, they underperform the indexes. They underperform most of the ETFs and mutual funds out there. And so it's like, well, why are you even paying the money for that if it's not even going to do what you need it to do? So when we created Tactive, we wanted to create these automatic, algorithmic, tactical, active strategies that buy and sell, move in and out of the market based on certain algorithms and methodologies that we have, because that way it's keeping up with the modern trading world compared to what is happening in the past. Now, we're not completely using a full AI in the background, but we are using algorithms that do constantly change and we're constantly evaluating. That's why I believe Tactive is a better robo than the other robos out there. And now there are a couple other that are starting to jump on the tactical train. But we're not only doing it to help the consumer, we're doing it to help the advisor, because the advisors are still using outdated methodologies. And we're saying, hey, look, come to our platform, work with us. This is a good way to connect with the next generational client. And you get some methodologies that are keeping up with what's happening in the market compared to your old strategies that are completely outdated and useless. And even Warren Buffett says that he can't do the same thing he used to do because it just isn't relevant in today's world.
I think this is really, really important because you look at these huge businesses like, the Buffett, and I can't remember the name of his trading company now, forgive me.
Berkshire Hathaway, yeah.
Berkshire Hathaway, that's the one, right. So you've got all these huge companies, but they're like battleships. They're not going to move quickly. They're going to move very, very, very slowly. This is the opportunity. This is the time. Because the small mom and pop shops, the solopreneur, this is the time that you can be tactical, you can be agile, you can be disruptive, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes me excited. So just kind of give me a little bit more of the backstage pass to how Tactive Advisors is actually adjusting with the marketplace, using the AI, using the automation to adjust? Because it's like you said, it's moving fast. There's like 2,000 new apps that dropped last week in the AI world.
Yeah, we're starting to use AI in a way where we can help people make those better educated life decisions. We're starting to engage it where it can find the right products. So, we start with the asset management, building your portfolio. That's what the Tactive Robo does. That's just one aspect of a financial plan. The reason why people go to advisors is because if they do like a Robo Advisor that's only handling their wealth, or they're only looking at a 401k, they're saying, hey, how do I build wealth? How do I plan for, giving this to my kids? How do I plan for retirement? Like these other life decisions that's actually going on with people. That's where we're starting to engage with AI on the back end and starting to use that and build. We're actually building out programs right now. So the Robo is going to get much more dynamic moving forward. And, like I said, as a life event happens, it will recognize that the life event is happening, and it's going to start shifting you to other products and services that you may not have thought about. It goes back. You were insurance. And I don't know what type of insurance, if it was life or annuities or what type of insurance you sell, but there are multiple insurance carriers out there, and each insurance carrier has multiple products. It's impossible for us as a human being to be able to figure out what is the absolute right product for the client. And if you have AI in the background saying, okay, well, based on this criteria, based on all these carriers and all these different products, this is the right product. And it also takes that biased decision that you will have as an agent or as an advisor, takes the money off the table because you're saying, hey, look, I don't care what the commission is. I don't care what the price is. Using this, I found that this is the best product for you, that I can actually say, looking at it, and then that you're using that human factor to explain it. That's where we're going with Tactive. And that's where we're helping our advisors make those better informed decisions with their clients. So you're just having a much better holistic plan and taking out some of the biases you may have as an advisor, because we have a lot of biases, whether it's different investment strategies, different insurance products, whatever. Even take the money off the table. If you can take the money off the table and say you don't care about the commission, I mean, obviously everybody's got to eat, but you're using this program that picks it for you, and you can show that to a client. Like, look, I get paid a pretty good penny when you buy an insurance product from me, but I'm making this recommendation based off this criteria, and this is what the program did, and I can explain why this is good. I think that's going to move the advisor forward rather than where they're at today.
Assuming you're one of the very few people, I don't want to say very few, I'm not as knowledgeable about this industry as you, but assuming you're one of the few people who's actually at the bleeding edge, trying out the new tech, testing out the new tech, using programs like the Tactive Advisors programming, how can we leverage that to land more clients? Because at the end of the day, that's great. I offer the best service. I'm the most handsome man in all of South Florida. How does that actually land me clients, right? So how do I leverage that? How do we turn that into more sales?
Well, what we do at Tactive is a little different than most other firms is we actually sit down and put a bespoke marketing plan together for every advisor that works with us. And marketing is something that most other platforms like ours, they don't really do a good job. They're not... Everybody gives you back office support, but they're not doing a good job of putting you in front of the client. I personally am obsessed with how do I get the client to engage with the advisor, on a more holistic level, but also drive that in mass, right? How do we scale that business up? So I'm trying to do things from my standpoint to make it a little more engaging, whether that's through digital, social media, webinars, e-learning, everything that all the other industries have done well. I mean, you see it done really well with real estate. Real estate brokers have really, embraced social media and digital marketing, and they do a great job getting leads that way. Financial advisor community hasn't. So we've put together a whole program to help them with that, and not make it cookie cutter where you're going to do the same social media post that 10,000 other insurance reps or agents have done. It's literally bespoke to you. So that's one thing that we're doing at Tactive for our advisors that join our platform. And then the other thing is we're trying to be a little more engaged with our outreach towards the consumer client. We're not going to raise $400 million like Betterment or Wealthfront did and go out and spend tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on, Super Bowl ads or TV commercials and things like that. We're going to do it in a way where we're doing it digitally, we're doing it as engagement, and we're going to provide real knowledge, real content, real tech to consumers. And then the hope is over time, they're going to see that. They're going to identify us as a brand that's actually here to support them. We're not like, we all have to eat, but I'm not worried financially about where this is going to go. I'm more worried about how do I create a really kick-ass product that people are going to love, and how do I connect that to people on the advisor side, so maybe they have a couple more years. Maybe they can get past my 3-year doomsday prophecy that I'm worried about, that advisors are going to be squashed if they don't start augmenting their practice today.
I think it's going to be faster. You talking about 3 years? I'm thinking like 12 months. Like,
well, I hope it's not 12 months.
It's moving so fast, and like that, and that's why I think. I mean, listen, if you're listening to this episode, if you're listening to the show, you probably get this, that in times of great economic turmoil, that's where the opportunities are.
Agreed.
That's when the chance to make massive wealth is. This is the time. This is the time of our lifetime right now with AI and tech. So yeah.
No, so I completely agree with that. And that's why I'm actually trying to preach that to the advisors right now. Like, you have to set yourself up for scale right now and do business differently than you've done in the last 20, 30 years of your life. And unfortunately, for those that are in the big wirehouses and brokerage houses, and they're not going to be able to do it unless they leave. That's the only way they can. And then you also have to have that ramp up time. I think there's plenty of people, plenty of boomers and people that are retiring, that I don't think the advisor will go away in 12 months. But once that big generational gap changes and that money transfers, it's the biggest wealth transfer of entire human history. Those not set up are done. Like, there's just no way, because they're not talking the language. They're not engaging with people the way people want to be engaged with today in the modern age. They're still trying to do it the old way, trying to get people to go to a steak dinner. That's not going to fly for the next generation.
Yep, I agree. And I don't want everyone to think that I'm some sort of doom and gloom guy. I'm actually the opposite. I'm actually optimistic. I'm just trying to wake you up. I'm trying to wake you up. Wake the hell up, because this is where your fortune is made. This is where your legacy is made. This is where you give your kids that college education. This is where, this is the time. It's not in a year. It's not in 2 years. It's happening very, very quick. Joseph, thanks for kind of breaking it down and putting a shot in our arm here. Where's the best place for us to find you?
Yeah, me personally, you can go to josephgissy.com. That's josephgissy.com. You can connect with me on all kinds of different social media and channels. You can also go to tactivewealth.com if you want to, engage with our Robo platform. But either way, you want to connect with me personally, do there, send me a note. I respond, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think so. And it's not, is it a robot that responds?
It's me. I may not get to you in 24 hours, but I do respond. So I will let you know. I do get back to everybody that emails me.
That's fair. That's another theory that I have, that within the next year or two, nobody's going to want to talk to humans. All they're going to put a robot on the phone. Have you ever called a 1-800 number and you're like, speak to a human?
Yep.
It's going to be the opposite. Everyone's going to be like, give me a robot, please.
Make this quicker.
Please give me a robot. So anyway, that's what I'm fascinated about. Like, how can I create the best automated AI systems? Because if you find that, you're gonna blow up. Anyway, thanks for being here, y'all. I have a special treat for you. The links that Joseph just mentioned, I'm going to put in the links below. So you can just click those links. Special treat just for you for watching and listening to the episode. I'll put a link below. That's how kind I am. Joseph, thanks for joining the After Hours Entrepreneur today, brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, Mark.